Africa is now locked into this thing of democracy. Look at America, how many political parties?
2.
And in Africa, you go to one African country, 60 political parties. A country small like Namibia, maybe 16, 20 political parties. We must really, as young people, you must calm down, analyze the situation, and see where you want your country to be. These things which are coming, the more political party, the better. Why it's not better for America? Why it's better for us?
Divide and conquer.
Divide and conquer. That's what is happening. And disrupt.
I have no time for borders. Why? I have no time for colonialism. They don't have borders in Europe. But when it comes to us, they say, no, you must have borders. Why? The division of Africa is what makes them thrive. They thrive on the division of the African continent. Can you imagine the minerals of DRC combined with the minerals of South Africa and with a new currency based on the minerals? What we can do to the dollar if we become a United States of Africa with our minerals alone. We can collapse the dollar. We can collapse the strong pound that is based on gold, yet they don't have a gold mine. So why do you allow such things?
I repeat, if our ancestors left us a land that we have found, we must leave better lands for our children. The fight is not only military, on the ground, but the fight is much deeper. In this sense, we must also strive to change the mentality. Our generation may have grown up in a system that has shaped us. It is very difficult to change, perhaps, but not impossible. Perhaps among us, some still find themselves with traits whose extent we are unaware of. But I like to say, to quote an author, there is no more evil man who cannot change his heart if he is taught as necessary to have wisdom. I think each of us can change. And in this sense, it goes without saying that we can forgive ourselves when someone is not on the path we hope for, but at the same time teaching them the proper ways so that they can change. Because the deadliest weapon of imperialism today is manipulation, and the youth are the target. Our country, or I would say Africa, is mostly young, and the youth are the target of this manipulation. And when we realize it, we must fight against it. Most of the time, imperialism is not necessarily what comes from elsewhere, but they are among us. And it is among us that manipulation is born. I invite the youth to rid themselves of it, consistently seek accurate information, and always remember our diverse homelands throughout Africa.
It's because they defeated us where it matters the most, which is the mind. It started with the missionaries in Africa long before slavery. They were sent by the Roman Catholic Church to subdue the Africans, make them believe that when you get slapped, turn the other cheek, and that your riches are in heaven. So by the time they followed with the colonizers to reap and rape Africa, we were already brainwashed. We were meant to believe everything African was bad and undesirable, and everything European was better.
We don't produce television.
But why?
Because this government has gone into trade agreements with other countries. Let's take Germany, for instance. Our trade agreements with Germany says we cannot manufacture a car. We will assemble the cars from Germany. And we don't just assemble, we put money to assemble German cars. Why should we do that? Why should we not manufacture our own car? Where is the market? Africa loves everything South African. They will buy from us. We produce a fighter jet. A fighter jet. If we can produce a flying machine, shouldn't be difficult to produce a car. Denel has demonstrated that we've got the capacity to do this. Denel manufactures army vehicles. And why are we not producing a car? It's trade agreements with Europe, with America, with UK, that you are not going to get involved in this.
We want to make it very clear that
we should not be confused with a generation of cowards who can be bullied by imperial forces and power-hungry individuals intoxicated by the wealth of apartheid. The United States of America has bullied nations before and imposed senseless and arbitrary sanctions and threatened wars. But we are a different generation. We are a generation of economic freedom fighters and will not be bullied, Mr. President. We agree with you, President, that we should not be bullied. We stand on the shoulders of the giants who confronted the establishment with their very lives, and we are willing to follow in their footsteps. We are not cowards, and they must not try us.
When I recently consider Emmanuel Macron's comments on Africa, they reveal his diplomatic intentions. Well, every conscious African individual should therefore understand these matters very quickly. Everything he was able to tell us and what it means. General Chani said not long ago about a change in tactics or the strategies of French forces in Africa. I think he came to confirm it. It is about dissolving and maintaining a Socler device. Emmanuel Macron conveyed his message so clearly that our only appropriate response is to thank him. Due to their genuine sincerity, even if some individuals attempt to deceive their entire population, the inescapable reality ultimately catches up with them. They will not leave certain countries. They have just dissolved the presence. You will no longer see them in bases, but in embassies, they will be there. They are going to establish security companies to secure their society that exists in those countries. The soldiers will be there, but you will no longer see them in uniform or gathered in bases. That's all it means. They are going to reorganize, but they will be there. As a courtesy towards certain heads of state, priority is being given to them to announce the rupture or the departure of French military forces from their respective territories. It matters little to us, one could say. But all we know is that if you want a break with these imperialist forces, it's simple, denounce the agreements. It all starts there. I think the example of Chad, in any case, they started by denouncing the agreements. Otherwise, if you do not denounce the agreements, just saying that the bases are leaving, we have done nothing. Because the problem lies in the colonial defense agreements that have been signed since independence. The most dangerous thing is not what you see in the bases. The most dangerous are the military advisors. The military council currently exists within all of these countries. They existed in Burkina as well until the end of 2022, until we took our responsibilities. And who are these military advisors? They are the ones who are supposed to put into practice France's policy here. They must work to make our armies very weak so that France can always have the argument to exist here. Compared below, they had succeeded. Our sentinels were therefore on guard with sticks. That's what France wants from our armies. When we reach this stage, we have no choice but to want them to come and settle. But the Burkinabe army also seems at some point to get rid of the military advisors. Unfortunately, I think that in 2019, after Operation Otapon, circumstances worsened significantly, where these French saw that the army in Burkina Faso still had the capacity to react to terrorism. They called the chiefs of staff in France.
Yo, what's poppin', my beautiful people, wherever you're watching from. I love you and I welcome you to this channel. Let's talk, let's discuss, let's talk, and let's find what's going on today's world in African community. And this kind and these stories of uniting Africa has not started today. There are major people, the great people who started this movement. They championed, they advocated this kind and this issue, this matter and this agenda of uniting Africa. But because they stood firm and they had some strong walls, they had what they believed, they were cut short. Their life were cut short. Why? You know, in Africa, we are believing that we are independent, right? We believe that we are independent, but we are not. We are not independent, but we are independent. We are being colonized. And what some leaders like Ibrahim Traore, they're trying to advocate today is what they are trying to advocate today is a mental decolonization. Wherever you're watching from East, South, North, and West Africa, wherever you are watching, as long as you're you're a black person, we have to move in one way. We have to move in one direction. We have to sing the same song. We have to sing the same anthem. And by doing this, by advocating this, by raising our voices, by knowing what we want, by standing firm, by standing and defending ourselves, then we are going to win this issue. We are going to win this war. We are going to win this agenda. And we are going to have this agenda in our hands. Only by uniting ourselves first. So, the problem right now is that we are still being colonized and we are being controlled like a remote. You know, the people from the West are the one who are there. They want to control us in everything. They want to decide on how we dress, how we eat, which people do we associate with people we trade with. These are the major problems that are making Africans to remain behind and to maintain the status of poverty. I think you agree about this. And don't forget to subscribe. This is Kenyan Explorer. Before we deep down in this video, we have seen these videos. The video from Julius Malema and Ibrahim Traore. And a short clip of that Netumbo Nandi Ndaitwah, the Libyan president, Netumbo Nandi Ndaitwah. These are the people who are now opening the eyes of Africa. These are the people who are opening the brain and eyes of the black people. When we say Africa or black people, it doesn't matter where you are. Wherever you are, as long as you are black people, you are black person, we are advocating this for the black people, for the black living matters, for the black community. So that when we make this come true, when we achieve our dreams of uniting Africa, every black person, wherever he is or wherever she is, she or he has to enjoy this fight we are fighting today. Okay? I hope we are together. So these people are controlling us in many different ways. And we are the one, African people, the black people, we are the one giving them opportunities. Because we cannot talk about because we were colonized, then that has to be we were colonized, that has not to be the issue or excuses of every time. Let me give you an example of a country like China, India, Pakistan, Japan. All these countries were colonized. But today, where is China and where is India? When you go to African countries, most of the factories and industries that are being found in African countries, these factories are being owned by the Indians. Most of them are being owned by the Chinese. Most of them are being owned by people from US and Japan. Yet they were colonized the same as we were colonized. In African countries, let me give an example of the country like Kenya, where I am and where I am seeing these things today. We have an app called TikTok. TikTok is an app that was made for the fun. You may find someone spending the whole day on TikTok, just laughing, staying happy. Have you asked yourself, what are you benefiting from this TikTok? There's nothing you're benefiting from. Nothing you're benefiting from it. So have you asked yourself, how do the owner of this app are benefiting from you? They're benefiting. But this app was created by the Chinese. But these same Chinese are not using this app. They have their own. We have YouTube. YouTube are not are for the Africans in some countries like Europe and some of the countries, but YouTube is not. You cannot find YouTube in China. YouTube, TikTok, Facebook. The app they are using in China are not the same as we are using. So if you can locate today here in Africa and go to China, you cannot upload your videos. You cannot log into your YouTube account. Why? Because that country does not support that YouTube app. So we as Africans, we have been blindfolded. We have been brainwashed from many things, for many problems, for many issues. And by these issues and these facts, we will remain behind until Jesus comes back. For those who believe that God, Jesus coming back, then we will remain behind until Jesus comes back. So it's time we wake up. It's time we stand by ourselves. It's time to depend and produce our own things to consume. We are consuming every day what we don't produce and producing every day what we don't consume. China were colonized. But after they got their independence, they now decided that they want to be independent and pure independence. And that's why they started upgrading themselves. Until up to date, China is the most and the best economic country in the world. United States is just being known as the superpower, but China is the greatest country in economy, the best. When it comes to electronic, building, and everything that is happening and being supplied here in Africa, they're all being imported from China. China, you cannot find their secrets. You cannot know their secrets. You cannot come across their achievements, because they're sharing their own ideas between themselves. And that's why you cannot. That's why the apps they are using are not the same as we are using, because those are the apps that are keeping their secrets. So that's the best and the major secret. That's why these people has developed a lot. Remember someone like Malcolm X, Steve Biko, Martin Luther King. These are the people who started advocating this agenda of uniting Africa. But how can we unite Africa? But uniting Africa is not that easy. And still, it is very easy. It will only start by me, you, wherever you're watching from, and the other one. When we can come together, support each other, and know what we want, respect ourselves, then we can achieve this agenda of uniting Africa. But if we'll keep on going under the people's policies and rules, then this dream will end up being a dream, but will never achieve. A lot has happened to the continent of Africa, my brothers and sisters. Whether you believe it or not, a lot has happened, and still a lot is happening up to date. What is being experienced and seen, and what is ongoing in the motherland continent of Africa, it is a lot. It is a lot that we as Africans, we are the one who are supposed to fix and say that it's enough. This has to stop, and we have to take our own way and our own duty to take the responsibility of our continent. What is happening in Africa today? Africa is under chaotic. Africa has been looted. Africa has been left with nothing. Can you imagine, since these people came in Africa, during that time when they come to colonize Africa, up to date, what they took to Africa, what they looted to Africa, and still yet today they're still taking things from Africa. They're still coming, using some organization, using some people who so-called leaders to still take things from Africa. And yet we are here claiming that we are independent. We are independent. What is independent? We have democracy. What's democracy? And that's why when you see people like Ibrahim Traore coming and standing, those people who are standing and advocating Africa, that Africa has to be independent. Africa has to stand by itself. Africa has to reclaim what it belongs to it. They're being hated. Those people started first by spreading hatred among the Africans, among the black people. So that when you as African can come up with the idea of uniting Africa, you will be seen as a threat. You'll be seen as someone who is not for the good interest of Africa. And that's why they are getting a good chance to access to Africa, to cause chaotic to Africa, to cause violence to Africa, because behind this, they're coming and do whatever they are doing. This movement, who was started by the people like Malcolm X, Steve Biko, Martin Luther King, and it has not to be left and die as these people were dead or died. We are the one who has to come today and achieve their dreams. We are the one who's supposed today to come and achieve what they were started. Their main agenda was to unite Africa, and that's why they were eliminated. They were eliminated because of this, and we don't have to praise those who are coming today and start continue with this agenda, because those time these people were eliminated easily because they had no backup. They had no people to support them. They had no people behind them. So even today, we don't have to praise these people like Ibrahim Traore, people like Julius Malema, people like Natumbo, our female president of Libya, for the good job they are doing. But we have to support them. We have to give them full support, so that it can be very hard for those people who can think of coming after them, eliminating them, because we'll be having one voice, we'll be having one agenda. And by doing this, then we are going to bring back the dignity of Africa. We are going to secure the resources of Africa. We are going to maintain and secure the culture of Africa and give its value back. This so-called superpower today, they're threatening African countries today just because they are superpowers. But behind, and the secret behind the bars, the black people are the one who fought for these countries, so-called superpowers. Because if it was not the black people, then they could not be the superpower of today. They could have not been the superpower of today. Because the black people who were taken there as slaves to go and fight for these countries, died there, sacrificed their life to fight for these people, to build these countries. Those today so amazing countries, cities, the great cities, they were built by the black people. But today, what's very annoying is that the black people has no place to America. The black niggers are still dying today. And yet they're the one who are coming today. They want to control us. They want to show us how to live. They want to show us how to associate and who to associate with. They want to show us how to dress. They want to turn us up and down. That has to stop. That has to stop. 1.5 billion population for Africa is enough to do and achieve their dream. 1.5 population billion of Africa. When we can stand up and raise one voice and say that enough is enough and we don't want this, this is what we want, then we will have it. But it cannot be done by several people. It cannot be done by individuals. It cannot be done by but it has to be done by all the black people, whether you are in Africa or not. This is a fight for the black people. And we are going to win. And Africa is going to be united. I have talked a lot. So maybe you tell me what you have, the commentary section. So your commentary is very, very appreciated. And by doing this, we will communicate, we will discuss, and we will know what we have to do and which steps we have to take to achieve our agenda of uniting Africa. Once Pierre Lumumba said,
"We must unite now. We must have one army. We must have one currency. We must have one foreign policy. We must be united." And I can hear the Osagiefo saying, "I do not want to be the leader of that country. I simply want unity." And I'm saying that we must live here with one united government. They listen not to the Osagiefo. I can still hear those immortal words of the Osagiefo Kwame Nkrumah telling his Ghanaian peoples that the independence of Ghana means nothing if the rest of Africa is not independent. I can hear the Osagiefo Kwame Nkrumah.
And that is what is needed. That's what is need to be happen. That's what is need to be done. Thank you for your time. If you're a new subscriber, thanks a lot. And if you are a returning subscriber, I appreciate for your support. Keep on supporting. I still need you. And stay tuned.